So we're in Matagorda. We're going to walk along the strip for you, or the promenade I should say, shooting segments. It's Wednesday morning, as you can see, another beautiful day in Lanzarote in February, early February. One of the reasons we stopped to film here was because we have the new cycleway that's been finished. If any of you cycled on the old one, you'll know that it was pretty rough. It was actually composed of those sort of stones there, and if you're on a racing bike, it was a bit ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. But now it's lovely, smooth tarmac going off into the distance with the little pedestrian crossings and stuff. We have a very, very low tide here today, or at this moment, which is why you can see more rocks than you would normally expect to see here. And I'll just walk you past the Matagorda Centro Comercial to the next bit of beach in this segment. About 11:30 in the morning. Not many places open yet, but I guess a lot will be opening for lunch later. Quite a few people around, as you can see, running, walking, cycling, or enjoying the beach. In the distance there, centre of frame now, you may be able to see the Armas ferry, which goes across to the mainland. We've walked up to the Jameos Playa Hotel. Policia Local car just driving down here. They're making sure people are wearing masks and obeying the rules in restaurants. Currently in level 4, which means people from the same household can enjoy food together, up to a maximum of 4. Cafe Mocha looks pretty busy. Devon restaurant next door to it, a few people around. This is a lovely wide part of the beach, and it has another of those watchtowers on it. Rather than walking you all along this bit, I'll power walk it in a second, then just take you around the corner to the main beach, Playa Los Pocios. And this is Playa Los Pocios, that wonderful deep beach opposite Centro Comercial Costa Mar. Ultra low tide here at the moment, hence the rocks. Centre screen now, you can see I was going to call him a stand-up paddler, but he's sat down at the moment. He was stood up a little bit earlier. A few people swimming. There's a couple of bits of work still going on the promenade, but it's pretty much finished. So we're going to head on round the corner now to Plaza De Los Naciones, which is over there. I gather there's a fair bit of work being done there to refurbish that. We've come around the corner a little way now, and I just want to explain what happens here when we have very high tides. I mentioned that right now we have an ultra low tide. Obviously, earlier this morning we had a very high one, which brings the ocean all the way up to the edge of Los Pocios here, and you end up with this sort of lagoon of water with sand between it and the ocean, and it's great fun for playing on or through. I remember our kids when they were young running through that, and us close behind them. So it's a pretty impressive beach, Los Pocios. So we now walked on to Plaza De Los Naciones, which is the Square of Nations. This is kind of where stuff happens at this end of town. Parties, fiestas, events and so on. Nice big open area. Used to have a sort of crazy coloured tarmac representing all the nations. It's being worked on at the moment, as you can see, and it's been tarmacked black, so I don't know what the plan is with it, whether that will then get coats of paint on top of it or what. Normally you have lots of flags up here as well. They're down at the moment and they're doing some work on the promenade over in the distance. And then from there you drop down to this little cafeteria right on the ocean front, facing the ocean. And then in the background there we've got the main Avenida, the strip. Right, I'll see if I can get off this bit now. Finally, what we have here is another section of Los Pocios beach where yesterday's high tide has sort of created a lagoon of water in the middle of the beach. And we've got a wooden walkway, or a way that people can wheel wheelchairs down, some shade at the bottom of that, a lifeguard station, and then looking back we see across to the main stretch of Los Pocios beach. And this is the Plaza De Los Naciones that I was looking at a few minutes ago. And finally the notice which tells us what we can and can't do while we have COVID restrictions in place. Basically, we need to keep 1.5 meters between people. We should wear a mask unless we're swimming or lying still sunbathing, and we should keep groups of people who are together down to a maximum of 10. So there you go, from an absolutely glorious Lanzarote in February. Bye for now. It's a rare sight these days.